Alright guys, so here's the review of the JF Exciton. So as you can see, the certificate's actually arrived now, so I'll quickly show you that before I get into the watch. And if you haven't noticed, I've actually got a new setup here at the moment. Got a new desk, did a community post about it and also did about it on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'll leave that down there if you want to check that out. But getting onto this. So as you can see, we've got all the specs on here. It's a really nice certificate actually. Goes over all the designs that James came up with. Do really like it. Probably going to get it laminated at some point because I don't want to risk wrecking it. And as you can see, got a number 100 of 100. So really nice thing to have. So quickly get that out of the way and then I'll show you the watch. So here's the watch itself. So if you haven't seen it already, I've actually done an unboxing. I'll leave a link to that up here. But otherwise, let's get right down into this. So let's go to zoom in on that dial. So as you can see, we've got a really nice textured dial on this. I'm not normally a fan of textured dials, but I do quite like this one. It's quite subtle. Certain angles, certain lights, you can't really see it. But then, if you get in close, just adds a nice bit of detail. And seeing as we're zoomed in as well, just talk about those indices and the hands and everything. So everything is just printed, nothing applied. So this is part of the issue with this. When it comes to the loom, which I'll show you a bit later on, but everything else nicely done, nicely aligned, no issues there. Hands nicely finished, and again filled with loom. Nice little detail on the counterbalance on the second hand as well. Something a little different, not seen anything like that before. And then you can probably also see as well while we're zoomed in, we've actually got a brushed bezel on this. So it is ceramic, but it's actually brushed ceramic. And then we've got really nice polishing details on the end of that as well. Do like that a lot. Again, just adds a little nice bit of detail. And then that sign crown there, the JF. So if you've been following Gary's videos on the Exciton, you'll know that they're changing the branding. It's going to be changing to J&G for James and Gary, I'm guessing. So that's something that's going to change on the next version of this, because they are doing an updated version. But again, I'll leave links to Gary's channel if you're interested in picking one up when they do a second run. So the other thing you've probably noticed, if I zoom back out, is that I've changed the strap on this. It originally comes on a rubber one, but I've actually got it on a Vario genuine leather one, because I had some issues when I had it on the rubber. I did a few community posts about it. I ended up with a bit of a rash on my wrist, so that's why I've got it on this one anyway. So quickly flick it around. Just give that a quick wipe. So as you can see, I've actually got a few little marks on this already because it is a high polish back, which isn't ideal. I think that's something else they're going to change in the next run. Sorry, they're going to be making that brushed, I think, because it is really easy to mark. I've been pretty careful with mine, and I've still got a few little marks. So we'll quickly get on now to the measurements. So we've got a thickness of just under 11mm, 10.7, or yeah, 10.7. Got a diameter of 38, lug width of 20, and a lug to log of 44. So really nice compact dimensions there. So now let's quickly test whether we've got sapphire crystal on this. Using the trusty down selector 2. And as you can see, yep, we have got sapphire crystal. So now, let's quickly test out that bezel action, because this is one of the really good things about this watch. It's a really nice bezel action, really clicky, rock solid, no play at all. Everything lines up really nicely. I mean, if you've watched Gary's channel before, you'll know he really likes a good bezel, so I knew that one would be great. Wouldn't be any issues with that. So now I'll quickly show you the movement in action. So we've got a screw down crown, which is nice and grippy. It's a nice bit of grip on that. So unscrew it, pop it out once, and you can change the date. Pop it out again, second hand stops, so we got hacking, and then obviously you can just change the time, and then pop it back in, second hand re-engages. Then we've got hand winding, so it's a Miyota 9015 in this. So as you can see, we've got that high beat movement, so we've got the sweep in second hand, which is always good to have. I do really like these movements. I think they're a little bit underrated. I do like them as a nice alternative to an NH35. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention as well, we've actually got drilled lugs on this, which is a nice touch. So if you do want to swap out straps like I have, really easy to do, quick, no issues with that. And with this particular one I've got quick release, which makes it even easier. I will leave a link to that strap down in the description as well if you're interested in it, because I think it does go quite nicely. Although I know some people don't really like leather straps on divers, but I'm not really going to be diving, so not an issue for me. So I'll quickly show you now what the loom's like. So it's not looking too bad at the moment, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. And we have actually got, as you can see, a fully loomed bezel on this, which is always a nice touch. And we've also got loom around the date window. Not all are useful, because you can't actually see the date, but it's a nice thing to have, I guess. I would have personally preferred a nice loomed actual date wheel. Perhaps they could do that on the future one. That would be quite cool. So, as you can see, we've got BGW9 on this. The hands are quite clearly quite a bit brighter than the actual indices and the bezel. And that's partly one of the issues with this. That's because all the indices aren't applied, they're just painted on. So there's only so much loom they can get on. If they were applied, they could have had more, could have had it so it was the same kind of brightness as the actual hands. But they weren't able to because of the design choices. But apparently that might be changing in the next run. But again, keep track of Gary's channel, he'll have updates on that. And also I'll leave a link to James's Instagram as well, because he does posts on there about it. So as you can see, the dial and the bezel are starting to fade quite a bit now, but the hands hanging in there nicely. So you've not got to worry about that. The hands are going to stick around a decent amount of time, which is the best bit, the main bit you're going to be wanting really. So no issues there. So all that's left to do now is show you on wrist. So this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. And as you can see, with it being those nice small dimensions and those curved lugs, it does conform to wrist really nicely. And again, you will get this on the rubber strap, but I've switched it out. You can still see a little bit, and I've got a little bit of a mark on my wrist from where it was. So I won't be wearing it on that strap myself. But with those drilled lugs, easy to switch out to whatever strap you want. And with the 20mm lug width, you should be able to find something that goes with it nicely. So overall, I'm really happy with this watch. Would have liked maybe a little bit more loom on the indices and the bezel, but design limitations wouldn't allow that. Other than that, the only other thing I really would change is the case back not being high polish, which they're already fixing. Possibly have an applied logo, might be a nice touch on the dial. Instead of just printed, applied indices obviously would be better, so you can get more loom in them. But other than that, the only other thing, if I'm just getting really picky, I would like to see a nice little touch. Could help it stand out, be a little bit different. Loomed date wheel, but that's probably not going to happen. I don't really think you can see many of them, if any, come to think of it. But it would be a nice thing. But other than that, really nice watch, really enjoying it. And that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.